Hey everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today I have a video to share a card I've created with the Sending Sunshine exclusive kit from Create a Smile Stamps. This is a super fun kit that has just been released, and it is got a ton of great things included in it. It's got some wood veneer pieces, it's got a great roll of washi tape, it's got the little enamel accents in all different shapes and sizes. There is 3 flare buttons that come in a little envelope of their own. There's a really great die that you can see here, and that comes in another envelope. There's an exclusive stamp set, which is what I'm using on my card today. There's a stencil with some great circles that can be used for bubbles or whatever. And there's a great collection of 6x6 pattern papers that are double-sided with lots of great patterns. And everything comes tucked nice and neat into a great little plastic zipper bag that you can keep your kit in, or you can reuse and use for other things. So let's jump right into my card. I'm going to be using the stamp set, and I'm going to be using the little lobster guy here. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp him on some white cardstock because I want to color him in. I've also picked a couple of the pattern papers from the kit, and those are going to be my background papers that I'm going to use on my card when I finish with my lobster design here. So I'm just going ahead and putting him on a block, and I'm going to stamp him with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and that's just because I'm going to be using alcohol markers. For him specifically, I'm going to be using Spectrum Noir markers, and I just want to make sure that my ink that I stamp with doesn't bleed. So the Memento ink is a great ink for that. So I just went ahead and stamped him onto white cardstock, and I'm going to end up cutting him out, so I'm not worried if I go out of the lines or anything like that, because I am going to completely cut him out around the stamped lines. So I just picked 3 red colors that I want to use for the lobster, and I'm just going ahead and laying down my base coat first, which is just my lighter color, and I'm completely coloring him in, the whole entire lobster image with that lightest color. Then I'm going to take my medium color and just kind of go ahead and add some highlighting around on his body. I'm concentrating most of my color on the little dots that are kind of part of the stamp because they kind of portray where the shading should be, so I'm focusing the darker areas on those spots. And then I just used my third color and added a little bit more color, and then I'm going to finish it off with a gray marker. This is a pretty light gray marker, but adding it over those little dot areas really helps to emphasize that shadowing and just really makes the image look way more realistic. So now that I have that completely done, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. So I'm just using my scissors and fussy cutting around all of the stamped lines. And then once I have that done, I can go ahead and work on my card. So I've went ahead and pre-cut my pattern papers down to the sizes that I want for the card. And I've also cut a piece of vellum from my stash that I'm going to be using on the card to kind of tone down the aqua watercolor paper that's going to be directly behind the little lobster image. And I went ahead and stamped my sentiment onto a banner that I've already die cut. I did stamp it the other direction originally, but I didn't like how the lobster sat on it, so I decided to change it up and position my stamping on the other end and have it come from the right side of the card versus the left side. So I just went ahead and added some adhesive to this little banner, and I'm just adhering it directly onto the vellum. And the reason I'm doing the pieces on the vellum first is because it's going to give me an area to add adhesive onto the vellum piece when I'm finished, because I'm going to know where I can add adhesive and it's not going to show through. So I always like to work on the vellum piece first, and then that gives me my adhesive area once I have that all finished. So I went ahead and put foam adhesive on the lobster and added him onto the card, and now I'm going to go ahead and add some of these cute little enamel dots to the image as well. And I'm kind of trying to mimic like air bubbles or water bubbles. I just thought it was kind of cute, and I have no idea if lobsters would even have air or water bubbles, but I thought it would be cute for the card. So in my world, they have little water air bubbles. So I'm just going ahead and adding those all onto the top area of the lobster. And eventually, when I get the card finished, I do end up adding a couple to the bottom area of that banner, just kind of underneath the lobster. It just kind of looked a little bit too plain to me, so I decided to fill that space with a couple more. So you do see in the finished card that I have a couple directly underneath there too. So now that I have the dots all added, like I said, now I have a spot that I can put my adhesive. So I'm just using my tape runner to go directly behind the banner and the lobster pieces. And then I'm also using my glue pen, which I'm kind of off camera here, sorry about that. But I'm just adding little dots of glue behind the enamel accents to just be able to have adhesive in as many places as possible behind that vellum. And this will just ensure that it's secured nicely onto the card front. So now I'm just kind of pressing that on there and pushing down the enamel accents so that they are stuck down as well. And then I can just go ahead and adhere that finished piece onto the gray word scripty pattern paper. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of gray shading underneath the lobster just for a little bit more detail and dimension. And to finish it off, I decided that this lobster needed to be a little bit sparkly, which is usual for me. So I'm just adding a couple black dots to his eyes with my black jelly pen, and then I'm also adding sparkle to the entire lobster with my Wink of Stella clear glitter pen. And I love how he turns out. I think he looks so great, shimmery and sparkly. So that completes my card for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hop on to the next video in the hop, and I can't wait to see what you create with the new Create a Smile kit. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.